Hey folks, I'm back! Today I want to talk to you guys about how to deal with being overwhelmed. That is something that each and every one of us out there can relate to one another because we've all been through it. And the funny thing is, we deal with it in so many different ways. Some deal with it in a good way, some deal with it in a bad way. Some get taken aback by surprise, don't know what to do, don't know how to react or act, or even go deaf, dumb and blind. Now I'm here to talk about this, how to deal with being overwhelmed. But I want to share an experience, an incident that happened to me the other day. One night, me, my wife, and my 2 kids were in our home. My wife was very tired, she was run down. She went into the bedroom and took a power nap because she's also pregnant at the same time. So I took it upon myself to take care of my baby daughter, which is about 6 months, and she's about 6 months, and my boy, he's 2 and a bit. And it was their feeding time. It was my son's feeding time. And how I usually feed my son is to distract him by seeing him in front of a computer and watching one of his kiddie programs. So I did just that. And I was halfway through the feed, in terms of feeding him. And all of a sudden, my daughter cried. She looked my way and cried because she wasn't getting enough attention. She thought to herself, hang on a second, Daddy's got his back facing me and I can't even see his face and he's giving all the attention to my brother. So she started to whinge, she started to cry and she worked herself up, and the crying, the sound of the crying got annoying, it got challenging. And at that point, my son started to fidget. And he didn't want to feed, to be fed anymore. And I was only halfway through his feed. I started to get wound up, I started to get frustrated. And all of a sudden, I started to force a couple of mouthfuls of food towards him, saying, son, come on, eat, come on, come on. And I was getting aggravated and agitated by the sound of the cry, and at the same time, by my son just acting up, playing up, not eating anymore. And I was trying to balance these two out, and I had the background noise of what my son was watching in front of the computer because the volume sound was up. Now imagine this, it's quite chaotic. You got a crying baby, you got a son, a kid that is playing up, he doesn't want to be fed, and you got this loud noise in the background, and all sorts of this stuff is kicking off. And I'm trying to stay cool, and I'm getting heated up. And I react, and I take it out on my son, and I shout at him, and I say, son, eat! What are you doing? Stop! And I tell my daughter, shush! Be quiet! And then I suddenly think and take a step back and think to myself, whoa, Mabs, let's cool down, hang on a second. So at that moment, what did I do? I switched off the amplifier, which amplified the sound from the speakers. And that sort of numbed the noise down. That sort of numbed down my tension a little bit. And then I picked up my daughter. I kissed her, hugged her. I gave her a bit of attention. And that did it. And then that settled her. And I went back to my son. I hugged him and I kissed him. And I said, son, sorry. I'm sorry. Daddy loves you. Mwah. And I held him there for a little bit. And then eventually I fed him. And everything was just relaxed. It was a lot more calmer. Now check this out. I was feeling very, very overwhelmed. And them types of situations can make anyone react. Depending on what type of person that you are, depending on how much you have faced in life of being overwhelmed. But I'm here to share some lessons of how to tackle being overwhelmed. First of all, being overwhelmed takes us by surprise. Initially, we might not be able to handle it, because we don't know how to react. We don't know what to do at that particular moment. Sometimes it can get very stressful and very challenging. But if you had enough experiences of being overwhelmed, you can stay a lot more calmer. You know what to do. You know what to expect. So my advice, my tips for learning is this. First of all, monitor yourself. Understand what kind of emotions, what you're feeling, what's going on inside here. And then, secondly, assess what needs to be done. That is how you deal with being overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed can take us by surprise at any time, any moment. And if it's one of them ones where it's a pleasant surprise, then just embrace it, engage in it, and engross yourself in it, enjoy it, appreciate it, be delighted by it. But if it's stressful, if it's challenging, then you need to take a step back and really think, try and understand what's going on inside here, and then assess the next steps of taking action. That is my tip for today, people. I hope that's been delightful and insightful. Until then, take care, stay strong, stay focused, and always live to learn to empower and inspire the lives of many as well as yourself. Bye for now.